Hi, it's Erin with Nutrition by Erin, your gut health specialist. And I've been taking a hiatus from my Facebook Lives I was doing quite regularly, Thursday afternoon Pacific time. I've been a little bit busy. I moved into a new apartment and got a new doggie, Rosie. You can follow her. I post some pictures on my Instagram page. And yeah, I just wanted to get back into the swing of the Facebook Lives. I feel it's a really good opportunity for me to kind of talk about hot topics, things that I hear in conversation, things that my clients are bringing up during sessions, and just tackling those topics from a dietitian standpoint, pointing you to the research, pointing you to a sound voice of reason, rather than getting kind of hyped up answers that we can find sometimes on various social media platforms. So today's topic I wanted to tackle is, can you have a cheat day? How perfect do you need to be with your nutrition plan? Because a lot of people kind of come into things with this all or nothing attitude, and these attitudes end up being their demise, meaning they try so hard to do their nutrition perfectly right that it ends up being their worst enemy and they go all the way back to where they were. So without having that clear gray area, that sounds like an oxymoron, clear and gray, but that middle ground, it really helps to have your success when coming up with a nutrition plan. So with that in mind, we are going to tackle, do you need to be 100%, 80-20, 50-50? We're also going to tackle, can you have a cheat day and what should that cheat day look like? Do you need to have a meal plan? Some people, they thrive off of this. Other people, it's super stressful. So figuring out if that's a good fit for you. And then lastly, do you need to eat right all the time? Again, can be stressful, but for other people, it really can support them in even other areas of their life, and it might be necessary. So let's go ahead and dive in. First, I want you to think about your specific eating pattern and eating plan. Maybe it's something just intuitive. You didn't even come up with something. You just start eating certain things and you like them and you just kind of go through your life. It's not a big deal. Whereas other people spend countless hours just reading books, listening to podcasts, reading blogs, figuring out what is the best diet to follow. It's a lot of work. And then they find it, and then they follow it, and then it doesn't work, and then they find something else, and then they follow it, and then it doesn't work. And this cycle can go on for years and even decades. And it can really take a toll on someone, not just their body and their metabolism, but even their mindset, their perspective on food. Food is no longer pleasure. Food is just fuel. Food can even be fearful, and food can cause anxiety in these situations. So the first type of personality that might resonate with you is this all or nothing type of person. And it doesn't just reflect in their nutrition, it might reflect in other areas of their life, in their work, in their relationships. They're all or nothing. They're in or they're out. They're black or they're white. Do you know anyone like this? And so if you do, and you approach your nutrition in that sort of way, the unfortunate thing is you're doomed for failure at some point. What do I mean by that? I mean, you might say, okay, Monday, paleo, it's going. I got this. I know what to do. I know what to eat. I got my meal plan, have my recipes. I'm ready to rock and roll. And the thing is, maybe it's a couple weeks, maybe even a couple months, but it's a vacation, you get sick, something happens to a family member, you have to have a crazy work week, whatever it is, something throws you off your horse, and it can be really hard to get back on with that all or nothing approach, right? And so it's like, well, I'm not following paleo perfectly because I had that one slice of bread because there was nothing else to eat. What's wrong with me? I can't do anything right. It can be very self-defeating, right? It's like, if you weren't perfect, then you were a failure. So this all or nothing attitude, this would be, again, someone who's more on the type A side, they eventually will get to a point where they just get diet fatigue. And so with that in mind, I don't suggest trying to be perfectionist when it comes to your nutrition. Because here's the thing, for the rest of your life, from today until the day you die, you are going to be making food decisions. You are going to have to feed yourself until one day someone has to feed you, right? So you don't want to put that much stress and pressure on yourself to eat every single morsel of food perfectly. Every single portion has to be weighed and measured. This is too much pressure to handle for anybody. So finding a way to get it from all or nothing, black and white, to that gray area. We'll talk about how to do that in a second. So again, this all or nothing person's very motivated. They like to start something and they like to follow rules. But the downside is they eventually get on this crazy roller coaster. They eventually hit a low, and it's really hard for them to come back up from it. All right, person number 2. You're probably not watching this Facebook Live, person number 2. But person number 2 is someone who's just real chill, nonchalant. They don't really put much thought or effort into their nutrition. So again, they're probably not following a dietitian on Facebook Live. But whatever they're doing is working for them. And so again, they keep doing it. Maybe that's going through the drive-through. Maybe that's using convenience items. Maybe that's skipping meals. Whatever it looks like, it's working for them so they don't put too much thought into their nutrition. However, here's the downside. At some point, it stops supporting them. Maybe they hit a point where their metabolism changes and they start gaining weight. And they're like, I never gained weight in my life. What's the deal here? Maybe they get diagnosed with some kind of health condition that they didn't have before, and they never had to worry about what they were eating. All of a sudden, they're like, oh God, I got to worry about my beverages and meal prep and calories and, what portion sizes, all these things that they weren't even thinking about. And it can be really hard for them to adopt a change when it was just coasting along for years and years and years, right? So in this case, it can be a good thing to have a relaxed attitude when it comes to nutrition, but it does become challenging when you have a problem, you run into a situation, and someone like a dietitian or your doctor might say, hey, listen, you're on a diabetic diet now, you're on a low sodium diet now, this is going to help support you. That can be a tough change to adjust to if you're too chill. So again, we have the really type A person, we have too chill person, then the last person. This is going to be that gray zone, that 80-20 person, let's say. Someone who cares about their nutrition, someone who makes an effort with their nutrition. Maybe they want to get educated on topics. They want to learn really what's going to support them for the long run, just not in the short run, just making them feel good, right? Long-term health. So they care and they learn. They want a little bit of guidance, but they're not so rigid where they're on this perfect diet with all the rules and all the meal planning that it requires, right? They generally do what feels good. They try and keep it easy, right? Not too challenging from a meal planning, meal prepping standpoint. But at the same time, if they go off on a vacation and they have a little bit of fun, they can come back and go just back to what they were doing. They don't put too much pressure on themselves to always eat perfectly, always eat clean and healthy. Because again, being obsessed about health is not healthy, right? It's kind of interesting, but I see it a lot where people make themselves sick over trying to be so healthy. Okay, so those are the 3 kinds of personalities I tend to see. I did post in the comment section an eating self-assessment, like a behavior self-assessment when it comes to eating. And you can check out that blog. I wrote it, I think, last year, and there's a downloadable Word document. It asks you some questions about your eating patterns and just get you thinking about what are you doing? How do you approach your nutrition and your mindset about your nutrition? So kind of work yourself through those questions. There's no right or wrong. It's just getting the ball rolling on thinking about this. You're welcome to send me your answers and I'll look through them and maybe offer you some suggestions. But all in all, a big piece of this is the way that we perceive food and perceive health. And I think the number one thing is not feeling stressed about a diet. We don't want to feel we're on a diet. We want to do what supports us, what makes us healthy. If we have a medical condition, we might want to change some variables up. But we don't want to feel like we're on a diet for the rest of our lives. That's no fun. And there's a lot of negative association with the word diet, right? Okay, so with that, let's see. Some of the other questions I wanted to tackle today is, are, can you have a cheat day? Question for you. Who are you cheating on, right? If you're not on a diet and you're, again, that third person I spoke of, that gray area person, there's no such thing as a cheat day because you're just enjoying yourself, right? You have that donut. It better taste good, right? And then you just come back to whatever you were doing before. Without that pressure of being perfect, you're not necessarily cheating on anything. So don't even use the word cheat day. I think cheat has a negative connotation, right? You're doing something bad. You're a bad person for eating the donut. Totally not true. So again, don't even use the word cheat day. Just be in the moment, enjoy yourself, and then move on. All right, the next question I wanted to address, do you need to meal plan? Here's my take on it. I don't meal plan, personally. But if I'm going to try a new diet, like back when I was trying keto, I've done the LEAP diet, I've done FODMAP diet. When I'm trying a new diet, it's helpful for me to have a meal plan, even just for a few days or a week, so that I can understand like what foods am I eating? I'm well prepared. I can go to the store with a new grocery list. It's not my usual, things that I'm buying at the store. So in that case, it's nice to have a meal plan, even if it's in a suggestive nature, right? Like, these are my 3 options for breakfast, 3 for lunch, 3 for dinner, 3 for snacks. Then when I'm like, what's for dinner tonight? I can just look at my list. But ongoing for my whole life, do I need a meal plan? No, that's a lot of work. And it can eventually, again, put you in that all or nothing thinking. I followed the meal plan or I didn't. And that's, again, a stressor. So meal plans have a time and place. All right. And then let's see. I think those were the main questions I wanted to address. So if you think of anything else, feel free to post it in the comments. I'm always happy to answer live. If you don't think of something live, you're watching the recording, you can send me a Facebook message or an email. And again, click on that link, fill out the eating self-assessment page that you can download off the blog post. Feel free to send me your answers. I'll look them over and we'll go from there. So tune in next Thursday. I will be doing another Facebook Live on another nutrition hot topic, and I'll talk to you then. Bye.